In the spirit of the evening, I thought I would take everyone back to when I was in the 5th grade. So they're going to show it right there. Truth of the matter is I'm actually a natural blonde, and I thought those bangs made me look tough. So when I think about the 5th grade and I think about state capitals, because state capitals and learning about the states were the lesson that kind of tied the whole year together. And I felt like I had a leg up on the competition, because if we look at our map up here, you can see my family just a couple years before the 5th grade started up in Pennsylvania, northeastern Pennsylvania, the capital Harrisburg. And we traveled all the way down to southwest California, capital Sacramento. And in the meanwhile, so we drove our car, and my mom's Pontiac Firebird broke down right outside of Springfield, Illinois, and then again outside Cheyenne, Wyoming, and again Salt Lake City, Utah. So you can see by the scenic route my mom took, Google Maps, not a thing at that time. So after learning all of these states, our year culminated in the 50 state report. So what we had to do was we had to name each of the states. We had to actually draw all the states. We had to name some facts about the states, write a few paragraphs about the states. So I brought props. I got a pink report cover, just like this one. And then I got markers, and I got line paper that I ripped out of a notebook I already had. And then I needed to get some plain paper so that I could draw all of the states. So when I was doing this, I was very passionate about my project, and I was very proud of the end product. I was particularly proud of the states, of drawing the states. My mom's an artist, so I was really proud that I got that whole green-red thing in the question, because she had me reading the color wheel before she had me reading. And so I just kind of mimicked all the skills she used to use when she used to redraw the cover of Cosmopolitan magazine every month. So I was really proud of my work, and I handed it in. And then 2 weeks later, it was the last week of school, we got our reports back. And I opened up the report, and I felt a little something like this. Yeah. The reason is because my teacher thought that I had cheated. She thought that I had traced all of the states instead of drawing all of the states. And why did she think that? Well, it was because I used tracing paper instead of regular paper. So a lot of these memories came back to me a few weeks ago when I saw this note come across on Twitter. This note came, there was a teacher named Kyle Schwartz who had handed out school supplies to her kids, and she had said that they could write her notes anonymously and stick them in this little bin. And when I think about that, she basically puts them on Twitter, and they just took off. They became viral under the hashtag I wish my teacher knew. And when I think about my 50 state report, there are things that I wish that my teacher knew as well. I wish that my teacher knew that I had been buying my own school supplies since I was 8 years old. I wish that she knew that I went across the street from the Motel 6 that my family was living in to the Kmart, and when I looked for paper, tracing paper was half the cost of regular paper, and tracing paper was the only paper that I could afford. I wish that she knew that I had been working on that report earnestly and trying deeply, and I wish that she knew that I wanted to learn so badly that I was walking or riding my bike 4 miles every morning and 4 miles back because the school had cut funding for buses, which hurt kids like me the most. And I wish that she knew that I knew that she treated kids like me, the poor kids, differently. We were the last to get called on. We were the last to get Student of the Month, and I was the only student out of the whole class that had never gotten Student of the Month, even once. And I wish that she knew that the grade that I got on that 50 state report haunted me. The next year, going into the 6th grade, the walks to school felt harder. The bullying that I was getting from students who recognized that we were different and were treating us as such got harsher. One girl even said, "Do you think anyone around here even likes you?" And because of that, my grades went down to straight Fs. And I wish my teacher knew that all of these problems at school were the least of my problems. I wish she knew that I was solely dependent on a mother who struggles with mental illness. I wish that she knew that I went to bed most days hungry. And I wish that she knew that when I would walk home from school when I was 10 years old, I already had Johns coming up to me, mistaking me for a prostitute. I wish that my teacher knew that my story could have ended before it even got started. But you know what? There's things that I wish that you knew as well. I wish that you knew that towards the end of the 6th grade, I was sitting on a city bus stop bench, and I was reflecting on, well, why is my family homeless, and why are the other kids at school not homeless? And I had decided that it was because their parents went to college and my mother did not go to college. So I decided that starting in junior high school, I was actually going to go to a different school in a different school district so that I could get a fresh start. So I wish that you knew, because I didn't know, that the school district that I ended up in had invested in school reforms that had made programs for students like me that were in the academic middle. And I wish that you knew that programs like this help students like me who have never had, we don't have a parent that can help us with algebra. We don't know what resources are available to us. It helps us not only graduate from high school and make it into college, but once we are in college, we graduate at higher rates than the general population when we're in programs like this. And I wish that you knew that in the 10th grade, my teacher gave me a set of markers just like this. And I was so proud of these markers. I was 17 years old, but I would pull them out of my bag at the beginning of each class. And I wrote my notes in every single color of the rainbow, just because I could. And because I had written my notes in every color of the rainbow, I actually found out that I have a photographic memory for color, which is why I'm able to talk to you right now without looking at my notes. These notes that I'm speaking right now were in pink. And I wish that you knew that because I had these new study habits, I was able to actually take AP classes while I was homeless. I got into every college that I applied to, and later I went on to get my MBA at Xavier University, and I broke a pattern of generational poverty that was at least 8 generations deep. And most of all, I wish you knew that I'm actually really no one special. Over 50% of our kids in our city are living a life like I had lived. And we have to decide right now what kind of Cincinnati we want to live in 2 decades from now when these kids grow up. Do you want the kid who had just gotten straight Fs and lived with it? Or do you want the kid that went on and was able to go to college? And I wish that you knew that we have this network of teachers that are building transformational experiences for the 130,000 kids in this city that are living a life like mine. So you have the Dawnetta Hayes of the world that are creating transformational outdoor experiences for kids like me. And this network of teachers are using all of these supplies that you see behind me to ignite curiosity in kids that have been told to stop hoping. So overall, I wish that you knew how things as inexpensive as time, attention, and markers can have, what kind of impact those can have on a student's life. And I wish that you knew that students like me, we want to rewrite our own beautiful story. But sometimes we just don't have the paper that we need to do it. Thank you.